Welcome, everyone, back to the outrage. And now I think you're going to get your wish because I don't know what episode it is, even though I can quickly find out. So we're going to go with just welcome to the outrage. Spencer
This
Byers,
is this is
Alain
19.
19?
I think so.
Oh, we're almost at 20, eh? Took us
I
long enough.
feel just a calendar year, no big deal.
A little over.
A little over that, yeah, actually. I think it's 19.
Well, I'm scanning now, Al, and you would
I'm
be correct. Correct. It is
Hey, there we
19.
go. It is 19. I wasn't sure. I knew I said I had to go back into the archives in my head and be like, I think I said 18 the last time we
Well,
did this. So
Al,
anyways.
that means our podcast can legally drink in the country of Canada. They can buy
Hey,
cannabis and they can buy lottery tickets.
there you go. And it can vote.
The American, not yet. We're almost there for being able to drink in America,
Yeah, we're getting there.
to be
Two
able to
more.
jump the border. But
Two
Al,
more.
we got to start the way we ended last week. You
Yeah.
were skipping out almost basically immediately after our pod ended. You had to skip out and go downtown Toronto to the Bay.
Yeah.
I was gonna say the Bay Shore, back home in Owen Sound, to Scotiabank Arena
Yeah.
to have your introductory, I'll say interview or
It was like
orientation process with
yeah,
the Toronto Maple
orientation.
Leafs. Because I should say orientation because you are hired. You are a part of the ice crew. You're one of the ice scraping girls wearing your little tutu. If you were in Saginaw, I don't think you've ever been to Saginaw because they have a beautiful rink. I've talked about it. All the
Yeah,
rinks we've been to
have not
between
been to
your
Saginaw.
refing and your commentary and my fandom of the Owen Attack. So Saginaw, when I don't know if they do now, but when I went the two times I've gone, their ice crew was always like girls in, I'll say, like early 20s from what it looked like, wearing like skirts. So
Yeah,
that's
no,
where that comes from.
we're
I know other
it's
teams do it. I'm just Saginaw's the one that comes to mind for me. So
yeah,
Al, how was
we're a little.
orientation with Toronto?
It was good. I mean, I got a lot of free swag. If I had to guess, Spencer, I think I got close to maybe $275 worth of Leafs stuff. Um, we got a brand new duffel bag that's made by Adidas. It's like a big ass gym bag. It's got the Leafs logo on it, like the crest, and then inside of the bag, I got a brand new pair of shoes from Adidas as well. It's all Adidas. Brand new pair of
Adidas.
shoes. It was. I actually went to Foot Locker the other day, and I found out that the value of the shoes I got were well over $100. And then we got our tracksuit, I guess you could say, for like the ice crew or whatever, and the track pants are very comfortable. I've tried it on, and we also got a nice Adidas dry fit jacket with the big Maple Leafs crest on the back, and we have a smaller crest on our chest. It was really cool. I was really giddy when I got it. It felt like Christmas came early, and it was just super cool because like it made it like official. Like man, like this is crazy. Like I work for the Toronto Maple Leafs. Um, and obviously I'm just shoveling snow on the ice. Don't get me wrong, but like I've never skated on that rink before, and it's always been like that one is a dream. It was never a goal. It's always been that one's been a dream because you just never think that would actually happen. But it's cool that it's going to be happening real soon. And so it was really cool, really good experience to be there and get things started, and just kind of being all set up and getting closer to that time of year. And also another cool thing yesterday that happened, I got some mail from the Ontario Hockey Association, which is Junior ABC, and I got my my all access season pass. It's that officials get. So when I go into rinks to ref games, I show them that card, so like they let me through. But also when I'm not officiating, if there's a junior game somewhere where it's within the OHA jurisdiction, I can walk in and just enjoy a free hockey game. So that was pretty cool. It made it like really official. I'm still waiting for my jersey to come into the mail. That'll be pretty sick as well. And also, um, I don't know if I mentioned it. Okay, so I think I mentioned it on the last pod, but I also officially have a girlfriend.
You have mentioned this. Yes, we talked about this. I want to say at least 2 weeks ago. So
Yeah.
update on that as well.
Not much more of an update other than the fact that she convinced me to do something that I haven't done since like grade 5, which is purchase a pair of jeans.
Oh my God. You
Yeah.
live in sweats, Al? Jesus.
Well, I mean, I wear joggers. I live in comfort, Spencer. I live in comfort. So
Oh,
I was a little concerned because she was like, "Oh, like, it'd be cool to like see
oh
you
my
wear a pair
God.
of jeans. Like, I feel like you'd pull that off." And I'm like, so
I
here's the
think you could
thing.
pull that off. That's such a that's such I'll say now without trying to make this sound bad, that's such a girl way of saying that. No guy would ever go up to another guy and say, "Hey, I think you'd look good in jeans."
Well, no,
Maybe we
obviously
should
not.
normalize it, Al.
Well,
Maybe we should
well,
normalize it, Al.
well, maybe I don't know. Well, anyways, so I'm like, so here's the thing, and that was like, it was funny because I thought like I'd put up a better fight than that, but like
Of course you of course you didn't.
it didn't take much. No, so I'm like, so like here's the thing. I haven't worn a pair of jeans consistently since like grade 5. And
That's hilarious.
she's like, would you do it though? And I'm like, no. Like, no. She's like, not even for like a few hours. I was like, and then this is where I started hesitating. I'm like, oh, a few hours. It's like, okay, I thought you meant like on a daily. And then that's when I was like, well, I guess like I could compromise or what. I don't freaking know. So then, anyways, yesterday I bought a pair of jeans. So I gave in, and that we had a good laugh there. And then she braved the cold yesterday. I had to ref a hockey game too, so she came to watch that or whatever. But I threw in a sweetener. I was like, listen, I know you like Starbucks, so I was like, I'll buy you Starbucks like before the game or whatever. And then so that went that was funny too. But
I
yeah,
still
that's
gotta meet
about,
her.
huh?
I'll break the fourth wall. I still gotta meet this lovely lady.
Oh dear
You know,
God.
this
Yeah, I mean,
unlucky girl, you know?
oh,
Gotta give her the pep talk, you know, put my arm around her. Hey, do you know what you're getting into? Like,
gee. Oh, she knows. That's the thing too. Like, I don't want to say like. So the thing with this one here, it's like it's very like natural and easygoing. Like there's no real effort into it, and that like there's times and there's like moments where it's like, man, like I feel like I've known you for like years, but it's only been like a month, and it happens like often enough. And like so yesterday I was contemplating on taking her out to dinner, but then I was like, oh, like it was getting close for time like to go to to go ref and stuff. So I was like, oh, like my aunt's making dinner or whatever. Like we can do that. So she had like dinner. She's already like started meeting a few of my family members and stuff, which is like might seem a little fast, but at the same time, like I don't know, I don't think about it too much. Like it just works at
you
its
live
own
with
pace.
your aunt. In fairness, you do live with your aunt. So
Yeah,
like
so
that's kind of a given, isn't
you
it?
you can't really avoid it. It wasn't like yeah. So then, anyways, as we're having dinner and stuff, like I'm known to be this way. Like people that know me can like attest to this, and like I'm a kind of guy where like if I don't have to be mature or like I can act like an idiot a little bit, I will. But like when push comes to shove and it's time to like put on that like serious hat and like actually act like a 23-year-old, then I can do it. But so yesterday she's like, I knew you said you were like childish and stuff, but I didn't think you were like, she's like, holy crap. I was like, I told you. I was like, I gave you fair warning. I was like, you had time to run. Like you had time to go. But anyways, no, so we had a good laugh about that and whatnot. But no, she's pretty great. She's able to tolerate me as of right now, anyways. And yeah, it's fun. It adds a little bit of light to my day, and it makes me yeah.
A little less cynical than usual, yeah.
Yeah, there you go. I'm less uptight, I guess you could say. I'm more like just like I guess my mood's a little bit better, but I mean, I'm not usually in a bad mood. I'm just, whatever. But
You're always on the edge, Al.
yeah, a little
Now
bit.
you're
I'm
a
like
little
the
less on
Hulk.
the edge.
I'm like the Hulk. I'm always angry, but like, that's the trick. I don't know. Whatever. Anyways, so that's cool. That's going well. But so yeah, everything's kind of like working out. I'm just waiting for the Leaf season to start. Reffing's finally starting to pick up a bit. I've been working overnights at City News, which has been an absolute bitch. Because my sleep schedule is messed up. Before we started recording this, I was telling you how I was up at 5 this morning. Usually I'm not, but I just couldn't go back to sleep, so I'm probably gonna nap at some point this afternoon. But anyways, enough. People don't listen to this crap for my life stories and all that. They listen to this for sports. But
Well, they're
anything
gonna
going
when
on?
you're on the ice with the Leafs, you knucklehead. So
Well,
you might as well give them a little update there.
I mean, yeah, I guess so.
Like,
the
let's
yeah.
not bury the lead up when eventually you are on the same ice as that absolute ugly nobody, absolute gutless Mitch Marner. London
Wow.
Knights kick rocks, by the way.
Tell me how
Mousy
you really
Matthews
feel.
with this nasty mustache. Morgan Riley before he, hurts his ankle. And whatever goalie happens to be in the net for the Leafs, then you can talk about your experience on the ice.
Yeah, they got 3 of them now, eh? They got Samsonov, Murray, and Jones?
No, I thought Murray got bought out, didn't he?
No, that'd be news to
Oh, no,
me.
LTIR. They put him out on LTIR, so Murray's not
Yeah,
going to
yeah.
play. That's what
Yeah.
they did. My
Oh,
brain's
sorry,
still
I
what he
forgot.
did.
My bad. I forgot. Joseph Wool.
Oh, yeah, Wool. Okay.
He's gonna be good. I like him. I don't see him taking the number 1 spot, but if Samsonov goes down, I could totally see him getting a shot.
Well, obviously, you had a really good end of the year.
Yeah.
Got a really good end of the year.
So, yeah, obviously, like I'll try to keep the Leafs talk. Well, no, the Leafs talk I'll talk about. I don't mind talking about that. Like that's cool, but I'll try to keep the little love life out of the picture because that's just
Well, unless we got any major updates.
There shouldn't. Okay, let me tell you, there shouldn't be any major updates for the next.
Yeah, but
I
you
mean,
never know, Al. You never know.
Well, I mean,
as everyone likes to tell me, life's too short. I don't know why they keep telling me that
Okay,
garbage,
fair
but
enough.
they like telling me.
It's one of those. You're still young. That's the one I hate. That's the one I hate hearing. Oh, you're still young.
You are still young, Al.
Dude, I'm turning 30 in like 6 years, bro. Like that's not.
What a jump! Don't even say 25. Said 30. Already jumped.
Well, yeah. I mean, mentally, I can already like see myself like as a 30-year-old. Like that's the thing. Like, I mean, I'm also an overthinker though. Like I look.
Who isn't? What man isn't anymore?
I look further. I don't look too far ahead, but like it's funny because like a couple years ago I wasn't really like 2030 was like this is kind of far away, but now it's kind of hit me a little bit like damn like bro the 30s are rolling up quick. Like it doesn't even feel like I've been 23 for a full calendar year yet, which I mean I haven't technically because like we're in September not December, but like it feels like this year is just flying by. Like even now like looking at my calendar, I had September all planned out before September showed up. And like the way October is looking right now, it's not far off either from that. So
You're right over there.
yeah, my microphone disconnected and like I have a water bottle in sight and I was trying to reach it.
Well, attaboy.
As I was trying to do that, because I'm sitting on my bed right now. I got a comfy setup over here, Spencer.
Yeah, I can tell. You kept texting me saying you were bored before we started recording.
Well, yeah,
so I knew you were getting comfy.
I decided to do some adulting today, which I mean I haven't gone to do fully yet. Like I guess laundry's not really adulting, but then after that, like the jeans I got, they're a little long, so I got to go get them
hemmed.
Hemmed, yeah. Yeah, it's kind of funny too, cause like I'm actually like. I don't know. There's stuff I'm doing right now, and I'm like, it's for me, but it's also not for me, and it kind of feels weird. I haven't done this in like 2 years, so like.
That's really funny. I find that very humorous.
Yeah, like this. She's not changing me or anything, but.
She's getting you to do shit.
Well, I mean, I've been doing.
Which makes me very hyped, by the way.
I've been doing. What do you mean? Why?
What do you mean? Why? I can see you in jeans. You know what look that is? You big dub that is?
Dude, you think you're gonna see my ass in jeans, buddy?
I can only hope. I hope I meet her. And when I meet her, I hope you're wearing jeans. I hope that's the connect, the bridge we can make. Me and this lovely lady that I have not had the opportunity to meet yet, which I do hope to meet one day soon. But as you continue to complain, Al, about we talk about your love life, I guess we will talk about one of your other loves, the Toronto Blue Jays.
Yeah. That's cool. We're that relationship status is complicated.
yeah. That Jays cat. Yeah. You went from in love to it's complicated, and the Jays have made it complicated after getting swept by the Texas Rangers, making everyone, including most Jays fans, think, well, they're dead and buried now.
They quit on them. I quit on them.
They then sweep the Boston Red Sox, who, in all fairness, suck, but you got to hit teams in front of you, and they do sweep them. And they were close games, and again, the pitching came up clutch. They only scored, from my quick count, 10 runs in those 3 games. They now come against a set starting on the road against New York and then going to Tampa Bay. We will get into a Tampa Bay story here after this, but they are now back in the wild card. Not only are they back in the wild card, they're number 2 in the wild card 3 standings, which would mean if and only if this goes to a playoff run, I believe they would get home field advantage for the playoff,
That'd be absolutely nuts.
which would be very advantageous not only for the Jays, but also for the fans who, as you said during the Texas series, no one really going to the games midweek or during on the weekends.
It was brutal
because of the team playing so poorly.
It was absolutely brutal.
But now playing against the Yankees, who are dead and buried, they're 6 games back of the wild card. And even if they go on a winning streak, they're still going to jump the Texas Rangers, who are right now on the outside looking in, the Seattle Mariners, who got the last playoffs or wild card spot, but are tied on games and wins with Texas, just have the tiebreaker. And the Jays are a game up on both Seattle and Texas, which would be 7 games on the Yankees. So a lot of things can happen within the last couple weeks here of the season now, including where the Jays could land. I will not try to convince you as a Yankees fan the Yankees have a chance. They don't. The Yankees are already buried. Just because they mathematically have a chance doesn't mean they actually have a chance. But that still makes this series against the Yankees interesting because the Yankees will believe they have a chance, Al. And when a team thinks they got a chance, they're always dangerous to play, especially when the season's winding down, and they are in the Bronx in New York.
Yeah.
So with the Jays a game up in the wild card, Al, do you now have confidence that they can make the playoffs? I know literally a week ago.
I don't want them to.
How much a week can make? How much a week can change, Al?
Yeah, I mean, I don't want them to, though. Like, they don't, even when they beat, the way they beat the Red Sox, like the 2 walk-offs, like, come on. Like, you think about it, the first game they walked it off, was it Rafaela that was in the outfield when the ball went over his head? I believe so. That sounds about right. Anyways, when I saw that, I'm like, any other outfielder that knows what they're doing out there, any other team, that ball is caught and it's out. You lose the game. There goes one. Then I think this was that was the same game. The Whit Merrifield walk-off. Come on. Any other 9 out of 10 times that ground ball that was hit is an out. And it's over. Like I read this on Twitter today too. Like, baseball is doing baseball things right now. The game is doing exactly what happens in baseball during September. And that is just absolutely insane things happening that don't really make sense. And some of those things, it's also like, well, it shouldn't even be happening. Because you look at like any other baseball game, like you replay these games in June or even April, like I don't care, start of the year. Half of those games don't even end the way that, the games just end on, the Jays lose because fly ball's caught center field. Oh, Jays lose because of ground out to third base, It's just crazy how messed up September is in the game of baseball. And the thing too, Whit Merrifield, I love the guy. Honestly, he's one of my favorite players on the team just because he shows up. No matter what, he's trying to do something for the team. And that's why I like him so much. But I'm looking the Jays again, they could have easily avoided extra innings. You had bases loaded, you were ahead on the count. Whit Merrifield at the plate, and then, fouls it off, and then the count's even. Or sorry, not even. You had a full count. So you're still ahead of the count, and the ball is clearly going to go outside. You could see, again, I've never played Major League Baseball, nor will I ever. But let me tell you something. One of my strengths when I do play is I have an eye for the ball at the plate. And I just see it, and I could tell by the body language, the way the delivery was for whoever. I don't care who was pitching for the Red Sox at that point. That ball was going to be outside. It would have been a walk-off walk. Nope. Instead, Merrifield chases to the outside, and it's like, man, what are you doing? Outside pitches are easier to read than they are on the inside. If they're on the inside, yes, you have to swing. You got to give respect to the pitcher and to the ball. But anything outside, you can assume it's not catching the corner. And even if it does, well, hell, I'd rather you go down looking on an outside pitch than go down swinging because, it's easier to tell when a ball's on the outside when you're hitting. It's so easy. So much easier. Whereas when it's on the inside, you're thinking a little more oh, this might hit me, or okay, like what kind of is this a curve? Like is it down and away? Like is it gonna catch the zone? Whereas like on the outside, usually you're able to tell like you can distance it because like how far back you are on the plate and depending on where you're set up in the box. And then you look at the walk-off single from Merrifield. Again, it was an outside pitch. He just to say got the bottom of the top of the barrel on it and beat out the run, or beat out the throw. That's it. But in my head, I'm like, man, you cannot afford to try this again tomorrow. Like you have to that was lucky in my opinion. It was like that's a ground out 9 out of 10 times. And it's just ugly baseball. Again, runners in scoring position, nothing happening. Kevin Biggio is honestly, I got to give him credit. He's been really good for the Jays lately. Everywhere on the field, the plate, his eyes seem to be, back to what it was when he first came into the league with the Jays, and his fielding just in general, outfield, laying it out, at third base, making those picks, those tough picks off the dirt, and then, with nice throws to first, like just an overall good baseball player so far. But like it's so frustrating because like you get swept by a team like Texas, who very much can still get into the postseason. And if they do, I think they'll be dangerous because I think that's the kind of team where it's like, okay, just get in and then do some damage. Whereas like, and then you play the Red Sox and you sweep them, but like, yes, it's great that the Jays are winning and they're making a run for it, but like, or not a run, but like they're hanging on. But it's also like, look at the way they won the games. Like you got to look at Jays fans got to start looking at the bigger picture here. Like the way they're winning baseball games, you're not going to get away with that kind of baseball in the playoffs. You're not. It's sloppy. And again, the big guys aren't really there. Vladdy had himself a series. He was really good against the Red Sox. He had 3 homers in that series. His bat came alive. Bo was okay. But like you just look at the way like plays happen, and I'm like, you guys can't do this. Like, the teams are it's so tight that you can't afford to make things close like that, and it shouldn't be. And Texas exposed the Jays again, even though they were already exposed they've been exposed the entire season regardless. But like the Jays got exposed by Texas by just the way they were playing. Like it's so easy to play against the Blue Jays because that when they have to play clutch baseball, they can't do it. Therefore, well, look, Whit Merrifield on that outside pitch against the Red Sox before getting that walk-off single. It was so far outside. It was like 3 feet away from the plate. And he still swung. And it's like, what are you doing? But anyways, I don't want the Jays to make it. I really don't. I don't think they deserve it. I also think that, if they make it into the playoffs, I'm not sure. I'm not convinced that that Rodgers will make a change. I do think there needs to be a change in front office. I want Shapiro and Atkins gone. I really don't like them whatsoever. Atkins is a freaking, I guess I can't say too much because I kind of work under that same umbrella, so I can't really go off too much. But
yeah, watch yourself, Al. Watch
yeah,
yourself. The Rodgers umbrella is looking at you.
Yeah, but anyways, I don't like them. John Schneider Don Mattingly tomorrow, please. Or just anybody. Bring back Charlie Frick. I don't care. Charlie clearly wasn't that bad. And fire the hitting coach. I don't care. I saw Edwin Encarnacion in the dugout a few times during the season, like especially late in this, like late August. Have him do it. Like, I think there needs to be change. I think Matt Chapman's a problem in the clubhouse. Him and Schneider clearly don't see eye to eye. I don't care. People might say, "Oh, you're overthinking the interaction they had in the dugout a few weeks ago when they played the Angels and Ohtani. They pitched Ohtani right away and then they had that interaction." Like, no, I'm not overthinking it. I don't think Chapman wants to be there. To be honest, I think he wants out. I think he's sick and there's something going on, man. This team just does not feel right. And Kevin Kiermaier seems to be the only one that gives a shit.
It honestly feels like all those trades in the summer made all the young guys like Vladdy,
it just
like
sucked
Bo,
the life out of them.
I think it made them realize that this is a business over a sport, and it's kind of taken that fun, as you mentioned, from them with the jacket that I'll say kind of spearheaded what everyone else does now with their own home run celebrations, what the Orioles are doing, what the Angels do with the
Yeah, but
samurai
like, y-
headgear,
yeah, but like
right?
tough shit. Like that's life. That's not just
Yeah, but
baseball. That's
the
life.
reality is when your best players want to play a style and management is trying to push them in another direction, at the end of the day, it's kind of the reality, Al, for I think the Jays is you got to know what you have.
But you got to
And
grow up too. Like, you
no,
know what I mean?
but
Like,
I feel like no, you don't, especially in sport. Like if you have a team that's young, fun, wants to play a certain way, then why are you trying to push them to another way? Let them play the way they want to play, and then if gradually they get to a place where now they're like Matt Chapman, who's in his late 20s, early 30s, and is willing to just kind of play his position and be the more mature guy, then you make those choices.
okay,
But
so that's not what I mean. That's not what I mean at all. Like, for me, the business perspective of it is, yes, you were having fun. We didn't trade them because you were having too much fun. We traded them because they sucked. And people might call me crazy or might go, "Oh, yeah, this guy's insane." Like Teoscar Hernandez sucks. He does. He does. All he is a bat. By the way, check his strikeout numbers this year. It's brutal. As much as he's hit the ball and whatever, he was not. I didn't like him. I did not like him in the outfield. I would still. I'm not afraid to say it. I'm much happier with Dalton Varsho in the outfield than I am with Teoscar Hernandez. I love the Jays outfield regardless. Don't get me wrong, I miss Lourdes Gurriel's bat. I totally wish they would have had him at DH and had him in that rotation with the outfield. That's the only trade, and I say it a lot. It's not the first time I say it, not gonna be the last. That's the only trade that I'm still salty about because that was the runners in scoring position guy. And that was the guy where, like, if he catches the ball, half the time whoever's in scoring position is not tagging and not going because he has a cannon. And but like for me, it's not like the whole fun. Like, yeah, it was time to get serious, but at the same time, the guys they brought in, it was guys that want to compete and guys that want to win. But at the same time, like on paper, those guys were supposed to be better. They just weren't. And I also just think that things aren't clicking because I think again, this is where the youth is showing a little bit in the Jays, where you know, yeah, you're not gonna win every game just because you're good. Like you still gotta, I don't know where it went wrong, but I don't think it's I honestly don't think you can make excuses anymore and be like, "Oh, it's because of the trades and all this." It's like I just think this is a bad baseball team. I really do. I think there's something going on internally that we don't know that's going on off the field
well,
that
I think
is
that's obvious with the way last offseason went. Because let's be honest, even with as much as you don't like Teoscar and like Lourdes Gurriel, both those trades kind of came out of nowhere. Like no one really expected, like no one felt like the
the
Jays
worst part
before
is
those trades they had a gluttony of outfielders, right? You kind of felt like the roster was kind of set. It was more like tinkering of the guys that aren't going to play every day, that were going to compete with guys like Biggio and Espinal, and then like pitching depth, right? And then
yeah.
they make those two trades in the outfield and signed Kiermaier, and you're kind of like, I wonder why those trades were made. Because Lourdes Gurriel is a good bat, and you like his arm. Teoscar is a good bat, much as you don't like him and think he's lazy in the outfield. Regardless,
He
he's a good
he
stick.
he
There's
is
a reason why he
awful.
plays in the outfield, Al, is because he's got a good bat. But anyway, you know,
Or you
like
DH him, but like yeah.
well, but exactly, right? Like that's the thing is it was kind of interesting those trades were made, and now that we've gone through this season where Toronto has still not hit that gear that everyone expected them to last year. Because remember that whole, I think last year, if I'm not mistaken, was the whole year of last year was the trailer, this year is the movie,
Oh
and
my
it was
god, you
it
have to
was a
bring that
horror
up.
movie for a lot of Jays fans.
That
It
was
was a horror
awful.
movie, not a thriller. It was a horror.
It's a
right?
terrible
And
ending.
then this year you were hoping that, well, quote unquote, the sequel was going to be better than the first movie, and it's been about the same problem, same
Honestly,
team
I
not being
think
able to get into next gear, not being able to spearhead themselves forward, and they're still really struggling.
this
So
year was worst.
you
I think this year
exactly
was worse. They took a step back.
because you gotta wonder, did those off-season trades affect the clubhouse? And then if Matt Chapman is a problem, is it because they're not playing as well as they expect and Chapman is having a reaction and some of the younger guys aren't having that reaction, or vice versa, and it's causing problems? Because that's the problem with adding and getting rid of guys, is you never know who the cog is that keeps the locker room safe. And I mean that across the board. It can be guys that don't even play, that keep the locker room in check, that are captains, that are leaders, that you don't think about as a GM or as a person looking on the outside looking in. Because I can think of an example off my head that's not baseball, it's basketball, of the Indiana Pacers, who, when they had Paul George when he was young, and they were really good, like top 2 in the East, really good basketball team, went to the conference finals, lost to the Cavs. They never got that good again because they made some trades in the offseason to get better on paper, but the guys they got rid of were leaders, were in the locker room, liked guys, and it caused that team to crumble. And I'm not saying it happened with the Jays with just the 2 trades they made, but you got to wonder, you know, were Lourdes and Teoscar really liked, and is that causing the locker room to become a little more divided?
Well, obviously they were really liked, but I mean, again, like for me, I don't care. Tough shit. Like I don't even like. I'm not a pro, and I even like people on the outside. It's the problem, man. Like there's a lot of people on the outside that understand it's a business, and yeah, it sucks, and I'm okay. You're down, but like, move on, get it out. Like, come on, man. You're trying to. At the end of the day, your goal is to win a World Series. Whether you have your best friend next to you or not should not matter. Like, look at the Raptors. DeMar DeRozan, Kyle Lowry, best friends. And you make a trade for a guy who barely says 3 words, can't laugh for shit to save his life. And yeah, they were bummed out. DeRozan was bummed out. He was more than bummed out. He was really mad. Lowry was bummed out, but look what they did. They won a championship.
Yeah, but I think you're
It
missing the.
it worked out.
But think about it this way, Al. What happens if they trade Lowry, so DeRozan? How much different is that championship run if they have one? I think it changes the complete complexion because of the roles of those guys. So I'm not posing the question that those guys maybe weren't those important pieces. What I'm more saying is it's so hard to take out pieces, move around pieces on the chessboard, and not really know exactly what it's causing in the locker room. Because I'm not even saying maybe Lourdes and Teoscar were the guys that were keeping guys in check. Because maybe they were helping Vladdy get along with other guys, right? And then they get rid of those guys. Now Vladdy's just expected to be the leader, which I think he's supposed to be, and so is Bo. But maybe those guys aren't ready. And let's be honest, again, with Kawhi, Kawhi's not a leader as in I'm gonna get in your face and yell at you. He's a lead by example type of guy compared to Kyle Lowry, who's gonna get in your face. Kyle Lowry is a natural leader. Maybe
Yeah.
Vladdy is not that,
I
right?
think
Which causes problems.
I think what's going on off the field, or sorry, I think what's going on off the field has gotten to the point where it's also they're bringing work home in a sense, as in what happens on the field also is it carries on to in the clubhouse afterwards. Whereas usually it's like, all right, boys, like it's just one game, like we could put it. No, now I think there's so many moving parts that we don't know about. The team just feels weird, dude. It just feels weird.
They feel
It feels,
disconnected.
but
Like,
but not just like as the players. Like this is like disconnected, and like I don't know if the Jays are trying to send a message to front office to John Schneider should manage. I don't know if Schneider is a good manager and the Jays like him, but they don't like upper management. They didn't like them certain moves. Like the worst part is too, like the trade, like, yeah, it kind of worked out, but at the same time, it really didn't. And again, there's one thing I hate the most about sports is that sports, obviously you have a lot of takes. And for me, I hate being right when I have a take. I like to be proven wrong because at the end of the day, I don't want to be right because half the things that come out of my mouth are usually negative.
Yeah,
But
you definitely are a hater.
But I called it with the Gabriel Moreno and Lourdes Gurriel trade. Stupidest trade ever. You lose a bat, you lose an arm, and you lose one of the top prospect catchers in the league. At the same time, it was one of those where I'm like, why would you trade him when you know damn straight that every time Danny Jansen is going to get hot at the dish, he is going to get hurt? By the way, where is Danny Jansen right now? Oh, right. He needed hand surgery. Done for the year unless they make the playoffs. I swear to God, Spencer, every freaking time Danny Jansen gets hot, you've heard me say this multiple times on the podcast, off the podcast, within the school walls. Every time that guy gets
Screaming
hot,
at home with no one listening at 3 a.m.
Yep, that too. Every time he gets hot, he gets hurt. He is a liability. I don't care how good he is when he is healthy. He does not stay healthy for very long. Whereas Gabriel Moreno has a highlight reel of just him throwing guys out at second. And then there's the home run power. He's been jacking a few of them lately. And it just makes me go, oh my goodness. And then have Moreno as your catcher, Kirk as a DH option. Kirk's also not a bad catcher. He can call games, not as good as Danny Jansen, don't get me wrong. But I still don't think he's as bad. I think he needs a little bit more credit than people are willing to give him. But I hate that I called it, and this team, like, it's still the same team. You look at the way nothing's changed. Between the Texas series and the Red Sox, nothing's changed.
I know run differential of 5 in those 3 games. They won 3-0, 3-0, 4-3, and 3-2 were the final scores of those 3 games. That 3-game set.
Yeah, and the worst part is too, like, oh man, it's so bad because this is how it goes. They lose a series or they play poorly. Then whoever they get next, they wake up, play not great baseball, but pretty good baseball. Like the moment the Jays kill a team on the scoreboard, like for example, this happens way too often with this team. The moment the Jays shut out a team, you know they're either getting murked next game or it's going to be a reverse shutout. They're going to get shut out the next game. It's so predictable, Spencer. And that's what's frustrating. Because like people are still like buying into this team, and it's like, why? They swept the Red Sox. Great. Who do they got next now?
New York in New York.
Oh, joy.
And that's the Yankees mix, right?
Aaron Judge and Garrett Cole. Great.
And Giancarlo.
That's just what
hit nukes.
That's just what the doctor, ordered. Like, fudge. Like, this is so bad.
Well,
I guarantee you that
it's how long? Kikuchi versus Schmidt tonight.
Oh, yeah. What's is it a 3-game or a 4-game set?
The last 4 series of the season will be 3-game sets.
Okay, I think the Yankees take 2 of 3.
Well, Al, I'm just quickly going through the starters of this series. So tonight will be Kikuchi versus Clark Schmidt.
Yeah, which could go either way, to be honest.
You'd expect Kikuchi though to get the edge over Clark.
Yes,
up and down the season. The second game is Gausman versus Michael King, which you'd think would go to the Jays, but Michael King's been really good this year for the Yankees in obviously less innings. And then the third game is the game you should worry about. Third game in the Bronx, Jose Barrios versus Garrett Cole.
Yeah. And Barrios has been good, though, to be honest. Like Barrios
exactly. Like the pitching for the Jays has been great. It's that you haven't been able to score on a hooker. The runs have just not been there. Which again for a team that has Bo Bichette and Vladimir Guerrero Jr. and Alejandro Kirk.
Well, let's not give Kirk too much of praise there. He only hit 15 last year, but
he's a good hitter. I'm not saying homer. I'm
yeah,
saying hitter. Matt Chapman's a good hitter. As much as you think.
Chapman's been the disappointing one for me, honestly.
Whit Merrifield and George Springer, both good hitters.
Springer's Springer's the most predictable at bat on that entire team. I swear.
I'm not sure that's a good thing or a bad thing, Al.
It's not good. Well, because the way I look at it, most games he'll go 0 for 2 in his first at bats. And then on his third one, that's when you can expect, depending on where the count is, that's when you can expect a homer or at least for him to get on base. But like the game against the Red Sox, I went to was it 13 innings? Yeah, 13 innings. That game there, he was 0 for 5. Like, he is the definition of hot and cold. Because there are games, he'll get, he's literally the Blue Jays. Just him alone himself in terms of his plate appearances.
Well, Al
has one great game and then just boom, implodes.
12 games left in the year.
Yep.
They play at New York, at the Trop against the Tampa Bay Rays, at home against at home against the New York Yankees, and at home against the Rays to end the season. So that's 12 games. You predicted last episode with 2 games left in the Texas series and the 3 games set against the Red Sox and their day off yesterday. The Jays would go 9-8. They're right now 3-2. There are 2 losses against Texas. There are 3 wins against Boston. You said they're going to lose 2 of 3 against the Yankees, which would put them at a theoretical 4-4 with 9 games left.
Yeah. So you're saying I'm on track to be right.
Well, I'm saying that you're semi on track.
Right.
Because this series is really going to tell you where they are, in my opinion. Because, the Yankees are dead and buried. They're 6 games back of the Seattle Mariners for the last wild card spot. They're dead and buried. Even though you're in the Bronx, you have to win that series. Sweep or 2-1 don't matter. You have to beat the Yankees. Because you know you're probably going to lose to Tampa. Because they're the best team in the wild card race, even though they're playing for nothing, except for trying to fight for the Orioles for the top spot in the AL East, which, I'll be honest, Al, you and I could not have been more right about the Orioles this year.
I love it.
You and I could not have been more right about that team, which makes me really happy.
We said
that team group is right, but positive.
We said it. We don't sleep on the Orioles. There's still people right now who are just catching up. Like, how the hell are the Orioles this good? It's like, man, did you not see what they were doing last year? And the thing is, too, they're calling up guys left and right, and they're producing. So, how could you count them out? I honestly think if the Orioles get some arms during the offseason next year, I think they can make a World Series push. I don't think they win it this year. I think the Atlanta Braves are taking it. But, again, baseball is freaking wild at this time of year. So
yeah, baseball does its thing when it wants to do its thing.
Yeah, that's one thing you can't really, I even saw a tweet yesterday. It was, predictions for the posts or the top leaders in each league or division, and they could not have been more wrong. It's unreal. And even too, I saw a video on TikTok too, who would you rather play in this division? And then someone's like, oh, I think I'd rather play Seattle. I'm like, Seattle's the last team I'd want to play at this time of year. Because like I said, they own August and September belongs to the Seattle Mariners. Hands down. Mostly end of August, early September. This is their time. But yeah, I mean, the Jays are just frustrating. And even the 13-inning game, like I said, that shouldn't have gone. It could have been done so much quicker. So much quicker, but it just hasn't because they choke every time the game gets clutch. Don't get me wrong, yeah, you swept the Red Sox, great, but again, watch the last 2 games of that series. The Red Sox just played worse baseball than the Jays. The Jays did not play good baseball to win that game. They just played less bad. So, I just don't want them to make it just because I want change. That's it. That's all it is.
Well, Al, you did say they're going to drop a 2 of 3 to the Yankees in the Bronx, which would definitely hurt their playoff chances. But again, Texas has been struggling even after the J series. Seattle's been struggling. So we'll see if the Jays can still squeak in the playoffs next week. We'll definitely have a big indicator after the Tampa and New York series is on the road, where the Jays were, where they sit, where they could sit, where they should sit. But talking about Tampa Bay, Toronto plays Tampa Bay 6 of their last 12 games, one in Tampa, one in Toronto. And a
I
development.
might actually try to go see that one.
Which one?
I might try to go see that when Tampa comes to town. I might go to that.
The last series of the season now. You might be seeing some basically playoff baseball, depending on where the Jays are sitting.
Yeah, I'd like to. Well, I also found out that the girlfriend doesn't mind watching baseball, so I'm like, oh, might as well.
Ooh.
Yeah, doesn't like the sports knowledge isn't really there. Like I can't really talk sports with her, but I was like, oh, like if I was like, oh, like if you go to a game, like if I were to take you to a game, would you be interested, or would you just go because I like it or whatever? Just like, no, I actually enjoy going. I was like, oh, cool, great. Anyways, back to the real sports here. Go ahead, Spencer.
Well, it looks like the Rays are getting a new stadium, and I'm just trying to get the geography done here. And it looks like
St. Petersburg.
I kind of have. So, and this is my problem here, Alan. I will get to it in a second, but I will finish the story first. So, as we talked about, I think you mentioned there, when I said Tropicana, going to Tropicana for after the Yankees, you said the worst stadium in the in baseball
in the world.
Well, the club is staying in St. Petersburg, which I do find surprising, but I will continue. So, their stadium right now, Tropicana Field, in St. Petersburg. Their new stadium will stay in St. Petersburg, but will move, I believe, closer to downtown St. Petersburg than where they are now. It'll be allegedly opened in 2028, the opening of the 2028 campaign. It'll be constructed in the gas plant district of St. Petersburg.
That sounds super healthy.
Much like the Trop, it is expected to have a fixed dome roof, artificial turf, and around 30,000 seats. It's going to cost an estimated $1.2 billion, with the Rays footing half the bill.
Yeah,
which is more than most organizations do. Most organizations commit maybe 20-25%, and the rest is paid by taxpayers.
I got a question. I know this is random, but do the Calgary Flames have an arena yet, or did that go to shit?
I honestly can't tell you.
I forget.
I can tell you Ottawa's got one.
I know Ottawa. Yeah, Ottawa's good. Ottawa's good. They're golden. But
actually, I feel like, you know what? I'm going to Google it right now because I feel like Calgary got theirs done, but I can't remember off the top of my head because the Saddle Dome is a little too old, a little long in the tooth for for
650 million was the reported price to build.
Yes. I just quickly looking. Yes, says Flames arena deal includes a 35-year commitment to stay.
Okay.
1.2 billion deal to replace the Calgary's aging Saddle Dome with the new National Hockey League arena. Will come with 35-year lease. Yes. So $1.2 billion franchise or tag.
Okay, so I was way off. I can't believe it. Well, no, maybe it was
you were thinking probably the 800 million. For
I think it was
initial parking.
I think it was like a 650 split or whatever. The city. I don't know if it was the team or the city that's supposed to foot 650 mil of the bill.
The city is going to contribute 100 or 515 million. Okay, with another 360 million in working capital.
Jeez, yeah, okay. But anyways, okay, so they are getting their thing. Okay, cool. My whole point is the reason why I wanted to know is because look how long it took for Calgary because it was on and off and wasn't too sure.
Well, they won't they?
Same thing with Ottawa. Eugene Melnyk died and then it was like, okay, well now what? Is the arena deal thing and it is. So for me, it's okay, 2028. Let's take a peek at how far away that is. That's 5 years out. A lot can happen in the fact that the Rays have been so back and forth for so long about, we're going to split the season in Montreal. We're staying at the Trop. There's just been so much back and forth with location of where the Rays would play. So for me, it's okay, great. I'll believe it when I see it or once the first freaking, shovel hits the ground. to start digging and get to work. So like, but at the same time, I'm like, oh, that's great, and I'd like to know too if like, is the roof going to be retractable? Because
I don't assume so. It said fixed roof, I believe. I'll make sure I reread that. Yeah,
really,
fixed dome roof.
so they're going to keep it closed.
Looks like it, which
Bunch
makes
of
sense because it rains a
idiots.
lot in Florida. It rains a lot.
I don't care. Like, baseball's meant to be played outdoors. Like,
Yeah, but then
it's
you
a
play in the
benefit.
snow.
It's a benefit to have the dome like closed or
But it
whatever.
also
But like,
costs more money to have a retractable dome than just a fixed.
I don't care. You're paying $1.2 billion. Like, hello, you're already spending the money. Might as well like add an extra mill or whatever. I don't know how much it would cost, but like,
And I do want to mention this here, which is why I'm very confused why they're staying in St. Petersburg. Now, I'll explain. So they're called the Tampa Bay Rays, as we
yes,
obviously all know, as I said. Tampa Bay, or Tampa, Florida, is about 26 minutes without tolls to St. Petersburg. It's over a bridge because St. Petersburg is basically like directly off of Florida. Like it's not really like it's Florida, but it's off a bridge. It's kind of like the land island like Italy has,
yeah,
right? So it's surrounded by water. St. Petersburg is just about. So my problem is why are they keeping it in St. Petersburg? Because the problem why they can't draw at Trop, not only because it's a horrible venue and the lights and the catwalk getting the view of play and causes errors in the outfield because of fly balls. It's happened numerous times where they sadly can't fix it. So hopefully this new dome fixes that problem. But why are you keeping it in St. Petersburg when you know people aren't coming because you're not in Tampa? You're in St. Petersburg. That is
yeah,
a problem. You're
yeah,
not in a major city. You're not in Orlando. You're not in Miami. You're not in Tampa. You're in St. Petersburg, which
yeah.
is a 26-minute drive right now at 11:34 a.m. here in Canada, which is the same time zone as Florida. Thank goodness. But right now it would be 26 minutes without tolls, 30 minutes with tolls. You got to think during rush hour, Al, that's got to be what, 40 minutes?
Well,
50
I
minutes?
mean, we don't know. Maybe they have a better setup. If it was Toronto, I'd tell you it'd be an hour and a half.
Well, I can tell you they don't. And I can tell you that I when I watched a video about Tropicana and about the Rays not being able to draw, and then the alleged move to Montreal when they're going to split the season, or before that when they might have moved to Nashville or what have you, you know,
I feel
it's
like Tampa would
because
do. I
it's
feel like
so
baseball
hard to
would do
get to
well.
Trop. Like it's difficult to get to the building. Like think about just for example, Al, you know how the Rogers Center is directly downtown, right?
Yeah,
Like
I mean,
directly in the heart of Toronto.
I was gonna mention Sunrise, Florida too, like where the Panthers play. Like location kind of sucks there too.
Like imagine instead of
What's up
being
with
right
Florida
downtown,
markets?
like
What's up with Florida markets just sucking in location?
imagine having Rogers Center not straight downtown, the heart of the city of Toronto, having it in like Saga, or having it
Oh,
in Scarborough,
jeez.
or having it up here in North York, where I'm about 20 minutes off DVP from downtown Toronto. During rush hour, it's closer to an hour. Right? So that's the thing is you're placing it in a location that does have people. Obviously, St. Petersburg is populated, but when you're calling yourself Tampa and you expect the Tampa market, which isn't that far away, to make the trek to St. Petersburg to watch a baseball game, and then you expect them to deal with traffic and all the things that you have to deal with, and then the drive back, I just I think it's not advantageous to the baseball team. So why they're staying in St. Petersburg, I find very surprising. And obviously, it's because they found a location and
I'm
affordable
just
price
glad
and
they
all
have
that
a
stuff.
stadium.
But I guess it does end that continuous loop of are they going to move? Are they not? The Trop sucks. They got to move. If are they going to stay? Are they going to go? Kind of like what's happening with the poor Arizona Coyotes, who I will continually defend on this show, the poor Arizona Coyotes. But anyway, so
No, my
hopefully that this location works and
yeah.
that the fans start to come, because right now the Tampa Bay Rays are I saw the stat, are the 27th ranked team in attendance this season. They average about 17,777 fans
Oh my
per game.
goodness.
That's
I think
27th in the bigs.
I think my last ending point on this topic would be I'm just glad there's a stadium. I'm glad it kind of shuts up the talks about, oh, they're gonna move, they're gonna like. I was starting to get to the point where I was like, I don't care what you guys do at this point. Same thing with Arizona. I don't really care what they do. Just let me know when something interesting or cool happens. But no, I think that stadium will attract people, and I mean, like, right, like the Trop just sucks. You walk in and I've never been, but like I'm assuming it just sucks the life out of you, and you're like, oh my goodness, where am I?
Well,
So
you
like,
know
I feel
what?
like the fact that it's a new stadium and it's a new like attraction for people, I think it'll draw.
You know what, Al? I guess that's gotta be a trip for you and I. You and I gotta jump the border and go to a Trop game before it closes, just to have the experience,
Oh
just to
man,
have
we're
the
gonna
ambiance
get
of
our
playing
asses
Trop.
kicked down there, Spencer. We're gonna
What
get
do
our
you mean?
asses. Oh
Why?
well, because we're gonna be talking shit about
Who are
an
we gonna
American
see?
ballpark. I don't.
Who are
Well,
we
fair
gonna
enough.
see?
That's actually a good point.
Like, are we going to see the Jays play? We can see the Yankees play. You're gonna say,
I think we.
So,
I mean, I don't care who. I like a baseball. See, that's the thing, Spencer. I just like baseball.
well, we definitely see the Yankees play then because the Jays suck. So we definitely go see the Yankees play. We go see Aaron Judge absolutely just crush bombs in the deep left field. And you
I'd
gotta
like to go
think
see
that
like
tickets
the
are cheap in
Dodgers.
Florida.
Oh well, yeah, of course. But oh, actually, you just unlocked a new topic. But like, I want to get to the other one before we get to that. So we'll like.
Well, okay. What was your quick topic? What was your brain?
Well, I don't know if you heard, but like franchises now, like the Buffalo Sabres are trying to restrict ticket sales to Canadians.
That doesn't surprise me.
Just like Florida
that,
tried to do during the playoffs when they were playing the Leafs. But they're trying to do it like for the regular season game as well, because let's be real, if the Leafs are playing in Buffalo, it's not a home game.
Everyone's jumping the border.
Yeah, it's not a home game. And I mean, I've gone down the QEW a few times, like, and let me tell you, like Buffalo is what, 2.5 hours from here.
I'll check, but it's
I'm in Markham. So like, because like it takes me about.
You gotta go the long way because you're on the far side of Toronto.
Yeah,
from
like
the QBW.
Yeah, but like when I go, so like my girlfriend's from St. Catharines, so like I've been up there a few times, and like yeah, when I go there, like the drive is not that long, and if you look on the map, the border's right there.
Well, Al, from my house right now, taking the tollway would be 2 hours and 6 minutes.
Yeah, so about 2.5.
With traffic, probably you get obviously a little bit longer, but regardless,
yeah,
Buffalo's really close to Toronto. Yeah. So when they're playing in Buffalo, you gotta expect the Leaf.
So where was I going? Oh yeah, ticket prices. Yeah, so like I'm sure ticket prices and at the Trop, they'd be cheap like crazy, but like the thing is too, like I wonder like maybe with the new stadium, if Tampa would go like, screw you guys, we just want to have people from.
That's why we go to the old stadium, where no one shows up anyway. We'll get $20 seats. We'll move down. We'll buy them in the nosebleeds and move down. We'll buy it where they don't even have seats anymore. They just mark her off with the tarp, and we'll move down. Like, what do you mean, Al?
Fair enough. But that's all I got for Tampa. I really want to get to this next topic because what a freaking turn of events this was.
What a calamity's happened in Columbus.
Yeah.
The calamity in Columbus. So I guess I'll frame it this way, Al, just 'cause I think it's a funny way to intro this topic. So, Al, do you remember last week's topics? Do you remember how you kind of showed up and we were talking about what we want to talk about? And I mentioned this topic. You went, oh, yeah, we got to add that. Do you remember what topic that was? Do you remember what thing I mentioned? You were like, yeah, we have to talk about that. You didn't remember?
No, you put me on the spot. No, I forget.
It would be Mike Babcock.
Oh, yeah.
Mike Babcock getting hired by the Columbus Blue Jackets.
Yes.
Well, in the 6 days since we talked last, Mike Babcock has resigned as the head coach of the Columbus Blue Jackets.
Quote unquote got fired.
Yeah, fired, resigned, don't really matter how you say it. He's no longer the head coach of the Columbus Blue Jackets.
You know how that conversation went, right? Hey, you either leave on your own terms, quote unquote, or we will make you leave. And then Babcock was like, well, I'd like to resign instead because, getting fired kind of seemed bad. So, But anyways.
Well, I don't think it matters, Al, because I think we all kind of knew this was the last kick at the can for Babcock. It was a 2-year contract.
It's over.
Thought that if Babcock did not succeed in Columbus, that his NHL coaching career would be over. And
by the way,
now that it's lasted all of 10 days, it probably is over.
I didn't know. I didn't know at the time. I don't think anybody else knew. I don't. Maybe you did, but he was getting $8 million for those 2 years.
Oh, like over the 8 years, like total, or
he was getting $8 million for that 2-year contract. So he's getting $4 million a season. That came out the other day.
I mean, you gotta pay him what you gotta pay him, I guess.
I mean, do you? That Sheldon Keefe doesn't even make that much, I don't think.
Yeah, but
I
no
mean, okay,
offense,
like,
he's Mike Babcock,
he
and
also,
I
yeah.
know that he's seen as a horrible human being and what have you. But the reality is, he's a Stanley Cup champion. He
Isn't
has
it crazy?
led teams to the cups.
Isn't it crazy how? Oh, what the heck? Oh, no, not answering that. Did I cut out there?
No, you're good.
Okay, cool. I was getting a phone call and I had no clue who that person was, so they will not
They
be
can
getting a
kick
response.
rocks.
Yeah. Jeez. I'm like where was I? Babcock. Oh yeah.
How much money?
Isn't it? No, not even the money. Isn't it crazy how he went from this guy here is not gonna be a Hall of Famer?
Oh no, probably not.
Which is messed up. Olympic gold, World Cup champ, Stanley Cup champ. And because of his last 10 years of hockey in the game of hockey have been absolute shit, this guy will not get into the Hall of Fame.
Most likely.
And it blows my mind. But, well, not that he won't get into the Hall of Fame, but it blows my mind how quickly he just sunk himself to the lowest of the low and just to the bottom. And when he resigned, I was like, you knew it was coming, and it was also one of those where okay, now the NHLPA launched an investigation, so there's something there, or there's at least a slight concern.
Well, Al, let me take you through this. So we talked about last week how the accusation was made by Bissonnette on his podcast, Spit and Chicklets. Yep. Then Babcock came out and said that's not the way that's going down. Boone Jenner, the captain, came out and said that's not the way that's going down. So you and I thought, well, if Boone Jenner, the captain, saying it's not the way that Biz Nasty is portraying it, then maybe it's not. Maybe Paul is not wrong, but isn't right. You know what I mean?
Well, because I said too, I gave Jenner the benefit of the doubt. I'm like, I don't think Jenner would say stuff unless he believed in what he was saying.
It actually happened. You don't think he'd lie to us, right?
Yeah, I thought, I don't think he'd come out making a statement like that unless he believed what was going on, or if it was what he was saying was true and that kind of thing. So I was kind of disappointed to find out that it was a PR thing.
Well, here you go.
But at the same time too, I knew Babcock wasn't. I knew he was done. You didn't even start the season and you already got an off-ice distraction. At first I was like, let him coach. I don't think this is a thing. I'm not buying it. Whatever. And I think a few people thought that too. I think it was just people got an axe to grind with Mike Babcock.
Which they do. In fairness, they do. And he earned it. I'm not acting like he didn't earn it. Lots of guys don't like him for lots of good reasons, but the reality is you still have an axe to grind. You're still holding the grudge. You still got,
And it's also dude, you should have known. I mean, I think he did know. I just don't think whatever. The microscope was there. There was nowhere to hide for this guy. And again, the whole reason why this resignation came about, I think they were going to fire him anyways, to be honest. I think you're just distracted. It's a distraction. And
I'll continue this.
Yeah.
Before you continue, the league and the NHLPA looked into the matter and were initially satisfied with Jenner's explanation, as well as a similar one from teammate Johnny Gaudreau, according to Elliot Friedman. However, the league and players' union reportedly changed their minds when several of Columbus's younger players said they weren't comfortable with what happened to them. Among the most serious concerns for the NHLPA was a meeting that occurred away from team facilities that included several minutes of looking through a phone, multiple sources told Friedman. And then some quotes from the NHLPA executive. And then I do want to mention that Pascal Vincent, the associate coach for the Blue Jackets, will now be I'll say interim head coach, but the head coach. It looks like he'll be the head coach for the season.
That's the
He's
worst
been with
part
the
too.
team since 2021, and before that, he spent some time in the AHL with a couple other teams.
That's the worst part too. Like, who the hell is Pascal Vincent? That's my next thought. Like, okay, you let your coach gone. Cool, you got your replacement. Hello, like, there's a couple other. There's a few coaches on the market right now. Is there not that could probably fill in?
Well, off the top of my head, Al, you got what? Gerard Gallant. You've got Claude Julien.
Yeah, what's wrong
Those
with
are just two.
what's wrong with Gerard Gallant? Honestly, what would have been wrong with him? Like, I think Columbus jumped the gun on naming him as a head coach. Because when I saw that, I was like, there is way better out there than some dude named Pascal.
Well, you got to think, though, if they have a really rocky start again, that they might look to make a change and get behind the bench early, because this team is expected to be at least decent. Maybe not good, but decent with
They're not going to be
with
great,
the trades
but
they made. Getting Provorov and Severson. And you gotta expect Merzlikins will be better with the improved defense, and implying they don't get hit with injuries again, with like they were last season. They'll be better, but I wonder how much leash Vincent will have, because again of not really being the guy they wanted. In all honesty.
I also hate how Jarmo Kekalainen apologized to the team for hiring him. Not Vincent, Babcock. It's like, dude, I really thought it was gonna work. I really did. I think Babcock could have done something, but obviously old habits die hard. He found another way to screw himself over. I was really looking forward to it. I wanted him to, kind of thrive. So I was disappointed on that front, but at the same time, like, buddy, you just buried your entire career. And now it's not only will you not coach hockey ever again in the NHL, you will not coach hockey ever again, period.
I don't think that's true. I don't know if he'll go back to the
Really?
University of Saskatchewan.
No way.
I don't know if a junior team will take a shot at him, but I think he will coach again. I
Oh.
don't know at what level. I'm not saying it'll be a high level. I know he'll never be at the NHL level again. I won't lie to you and say that, but I don't know.
Anyone that hires him
where
at
it'll
this point
be.
is a moron.
Well, okay, if Bill Peters can get back in the league, is the way I'll put it. With again, we talked about last week with Lethbridge. I think Babcock could get a chance. And maybe at the WHL level, maybe the NHL level, obviously.
But
the AHL
that
level,
was
but
Babcock's chance. That was it.
yeah, but I was thinking that's his NHL chance. I think he'll get another shot with, and honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if he goes back to Saskatchewan and just becomes a consultant or an assistant coach kind of thing, where he shows up, for games and kind of does it just for a hobby more than a job.
I don't know. I don't think you hire him anymore. I think it's over.
Well, I guess we'll have to see if he makes headlines again. But again, Mike Babcock in all of a week's time went from newest head coach in the NHL to looking to pack his bags and close his apartment, or sell his house, or close his apartment in Columbus.
Yeah, it's crazy too, because I was like, oh, let him coach. Like I didn't. Yeah, like how it's crazy how my mentality changed towards him too. Like in a short amount of time. Like it was, oh, let him coach. To like, oh, really? Like you're still doing this shit? Like, all right. But I mean, at the same time, like now that you hear that coming out and stuff, like, yeah, this guy should not coach again. I would not want him anywhere near my players as a GM. I wouldn't even think about him. I don't care how cheap the contract would be. I don't care, even if you're guaranteed like a few Stanley Cups or championships, like, you just can look through a crystal ball and you could see that you could win championships with them. I still wouldn't do it.
Well, I do want to
yeah.
finish here, Al, with the Columbus Blue Jackets organization will not be making changes to the front office, and meaning GM Jarmo Kekalainen and try to think of the wording. It's what Shanahan is in Toronto, the president of hockey operations. Yeah, I want to say, is it, before I mess this up? I'm trying to find his actual name. I can't find it, so I'm just gonna say Davidson. He used to be the GM for the Rangers and then was fired not too long ago. They fired him and they fired the coach, and then he went back to Columbus.
I mean, I think Jarmo Kekalainen's job should be safe. I don't think he's done a bad job with the team. I think he's, I think it's slowly starting to come together. I think Babcock was not a missing piece to the puzzle, but I do think it would have helped I thought for sure it would be like okay, Babcock learned from his mistakes. Like he learned, let's not do this. Let's just coach. Let's, just coach a winning hockey team here. And that's not what happened. But I'm completely satisfied with the work that Jarmo Kekalainen's done. And I mean, you look at the roster he had not too long ago before, the bubble, and like Columbus was a tough team to play. And I don't think they're far off from that. And depending on how things go, I don't see them making the playoffs. But I do think that, things could look a little different at the deadline, and come next year, maybe then they try to get in.
And I'll make sure I say John Davidson, who's the president of hockey operations,
No,
and
there you
Jarmo
go, yeah.
Kekalainen. Jarmo Kekalainen, again, I want to keep mentioning this because I want to give Jarmo respect, because I don't know how much longer he'll last in Columbus. They are a very small market in the NHL. They have really struggled to make a good hockey team there in Columbus. Jarmo Kekalainen was the GM in February of 2013. He was the first-born European to ever hold a GM position in the NHL. I believe he is still the only European to be a GM in the NHL. So he should be commended for that. And has it not worked in Columbus? Yes. But has it not worked in Columbus since they became a team? Basically, yes. The first time they've made it out of the first round was the year they upset Tampa Bay, swept them 4-0 with John Tortorella, and guess who was the GM for that team? Of course, it was Jarmo Kekalainen, and that was, I believe, 4 years ago now?
And that was the best team they ever had.
And that was when they bought the deadline and got Dzingel and Duchesne,
Yeah,
and that guy still had Panarin, still had Seth Jones. That team was good, Obviously, we didn't expect them to be upset Tampa, but they're still a good hockey team, and they lost everyone in that free agency because they're a small market team that can't draw. Gaudreau's really the first free agent, big free agent ever go to Columbus.
I mean, I wouldn't say they can't draw. Let's be honest here. That house was loud and it was packed.
I mean, players draw players in.
Oh,
they lost
okay,
Duchesne, lost Panarin, lost Seth Jones, lost everybody, right? They want to be in Columbus, So getting Johnny Gaudreau maybe shows that they can get marquee free agents, which they haven't been able to do in the past. So maybe Jarmo is doing a great job.
And I mean, they have Patrick Laine too, right?
Patrick Laine, who they got in the Pierre-Luc Dubois trade.
Yeah.
They still got Werenski, who's their top defenseman. Merzlikins, I think, is a good goalie. That team again could be interesting makeup. We'll see what they can do with new head coach Pascal Vincent, but I do quickly want to go a little spiel about Jarmo Kekalainen because I think he deserves a little more respect than people give him. And again, being in a small market in Columbus, his name will not be mentioned like Kyle Shanahan, like Brad Treliving now, like Kyle Dubas with Pittsburgh, like Don Sweeney and Cam Neely in Boston, etc. They're not mentioned as much as the guys with big organizations.
Yeah,
six organizations.
And I think, and I'm right there with you. I do think, obviously the team's success isn't there on the ice, but I do still think that Kekalainen's done a good job to kind of keep the team afloat and kind of keep the fans interested and showing up. Like I said, I don't expect Columbus to make the playoffs. I do expect them to be a tough team to play against this year, though.
Definitely will be that, and they'll be interesting to see where you and I place them when we do our Metro standings in a few weeks' time when the NHL season comes a little bit closer.
Can't wait to see how wrong we're going to be there.
Oh, yeah, probably.
Did we even have Boston making the playoffs last year? I know
I did. I did as a 5th seed of the wild card.
See, I didn't even have them making it in, and then they had the season they had.
Yeah, and then they broke the record for most wins and most points. So get out, put them out of the playoffs again. I dare you. Anyway.
Yeah, well, I mean, it was nice to see them go in the first round.
No, of course it was. You sadistically fan. Well, at least Florida put us both our teams out. So,
I literally
worked out.
I said it too because I was like, this is the perfect recipe for like a perfect disaster. You have a phenomenal season, and then next thing you know, boom, first round exit, you implode. And sure enough, because it felt like an NCAA season. You got the number 1 ranked seed team, on an all-time high. Then they come into March Madness. They have one bad game, and next thing you know, boom, you're gone. You get eliminated by like a lower end seed,
16 seed.
Yeah, there you go. We'll say that.
But
16. That's true. Hey, Florida. And then they beat the Leafs. Yeah, gotta love it. Actually, I was excited to hear what Ryan Reeves had to say about the Florida Panthers yesterday when the Leafs had their little golf tournament.
Did he say anything interesting?
Well, I was a little concerned, but I was also like, okay, this is good to hear. they asked him about, the Radko Gudas incident when he yelled in front of Joseph Wall's face after Florida got the series clinching goal in overtime. And Ryan Reeves just basically said, "Yeah, I'd like to see him try that again. It'd be fun, wouldn't it?" And part of me was like, "Yeah, so I like to hear it." But the other part of me was like, "Okay, cool. Every fighter the Leafs have brought into this city, let's check the track record on how well that's gone." But at the same time, I really hope Ryan Reeves isn't just. I don't want him to fight. I don't want him to be a fighter. I don't want him to. Okay, I don't expect him to be a
lover. What's going on over here?
I don't expect him to be a prime goal scorer or anything like that. It's still Ryan Reeves. But I just hope that when he's on the ice, it's not just to be on the ice to fight guys or for me, Wayne Simmons, it got tiring because it's like you knew that was all his role was just fight. Whereas like now I hope it's like you have guys that are there, but it's like to intimidate in terms of like, hey, I won't fight you every chance I get, but I'm definitely going to make sure that when I'm on the ice.
Well, I expect that will be his role, but again, we'll have to see when the Leafs do hit the ice what his exact role will be.
And I like what I'm hearing too. Like I hear he's already been vocal with the group, and the other thing I like too is that it sounds like what they're trying to do with Ryan Reeves is, since he's such a vocal guy, it's trying to like ignite guys to like, in the last couple of years, the Leafs have had to bring in people to protect the stars. Whereas now it's like you have guys like him hoping to ignite. Max Domi's also there, by the way.
Yep.
Tyler Bertuzzi is not a guy that's afraid to drop the mids. Basically, they brought him in to kind of. They brought him in to like spark. I don't want to use the word self-defense. Sounds kind of weird because it's hockey, but like, just like some extra fight in them. It's like, if Matthews gets hit or gets run at, don't get me wrong, I really don't want him dropping the gloves. But like, I'd like to, or when someone gets their head taken off or like it's a bad hit, like usually there's no pushback from the team, right? That's where they're saying how the Leafs are soft is not because they wouldn't fight or anything. It's just there was just no pushback at all. Fighting's one thing, but just not pushing back and holding guys accountable for stupid stuff. That's what made the Leafs soft. Whereas now apparently Ryan Reeves' role is to be there because to ignite hey, that's not okay. We're gonna do something about it, or we're gonna let you know.
Well, I'll put it this way, Al. They're the pop. Matthews, Marner, Nylander. They're the pop stars. They're not gonna put their hands on nobody. They're the pop stars. They need the bouncers. Bertuzzi, Domi, Ryan Reeves. They're the bouncers. They come in. They're the security. You're walking down, you're shaking hands, you're high fiving everybody. Somebody grabs your hand. Bouncer comes in. Hey. Put that hand away. Okay, dog. Okay. And
it's pretty cool. Walking. It's pretty cool too. I get to watch it firsthand this year too, so that'll be nice.
You'll finally get a chance to see your team not be so soft on the ice, unlike the Bruins, where we're never soft. Never seen a Bruins team
honestly, I will say this, and that I think this is like where, even too, like when we talk about the Yankees and like every team like you cheer for, like yeah, like don't get me wrong, I'm not a fan of them, but like I'll give credit where it's due, and like I will say this, I love the Boston Bruins culture. Honestly, I wouldn't even be that like much of a Bruins hater if 2013 wouldn't have happened,
or 2011. Or no, I guess 2011 is when we won the cup. 2013 is
2011. Honestly, 2011 wasn't even that bad. Like it kind of sucked. I was hoping Vancouver would have won because it would have been nice to have a Canadian team win it. But like,
yeah, but they suck. They're a horrible organization. They can kick rocks. So sorry, Canucks fans, but you guys can cry me a river.
But yeah, like just 2013, you kind of just ruined it, and then
17, 18, 19.
Yeah, something like that. It just got annoying to like lose to them all the time.
Yeah, because 20 would have been Columbus because of COVID.
Yeah, but COVID. No, I like I said, I will say this. Like, I really like the Boston Bruins culture, and I like the fact that like even though like some of the guys like Patrice Bergeron, Zdeno Chara, Nathan Horton, guys that were there like when they were, well, hell, Milan Lucic is there now too.
He's back.
He's back. Yeah. So like guys like them, like those were like that. Those are the guys that like. Those are Boston Bruins. That's what it means. And my favorite player, I love this guy. And I'm not even like a Bruins fan, but like Trent Frederick, I love that guy.
Al, I told another one of our classmates at CSM who was a diehard Leaf fan. I said, the difference between the Leafs and the Bruins is you look at the Bruins roster, you see a guy's name, you've watched him a couple times, like that guy's a Bruin. You can just you feel it. You know what I mean? Trent Frederick is a Bruin.
Yeah, 100%.
I love Trent Frederick. Trent Frederick, I think the world of that kid. And yeah, I don't think he's particularly talented, but he's a Bruin. Like not a great player, but he's physical. He can score. He can hit. He got
honestly,
all that makeup.
Would it be fair to say if he's like another Milan Lucic, but like prime Milan Lucic?
He's a center too, which is a little bit different, obviously, from Lou. But
right,
yeah,
but like, would that be a fair assessment? Like,
I would say Lucic has way more offensive upside than poor Trent.
Right.
But I would say, yeah, that's a fair enough comparison where I wouldn't argue with you too much.
Like the grit level and that kind of thing, right?
Yeah. With that style of play, that kind of on the edge play. I agree with that. Charlie Coyle fit right into the Bruins. Danton Hayden was a good Bruin. Our fourth line always been great.
Was good, yeah.
Nola Chari.
Dude, there's so many. That's the thing. That's the thing too.
Nola Chari on the energy line we had a couple years back with the fourth line, right?
I wish the Leafs would have like capitalized more on like fish more on like with Bruins guys like Achari, Danton Heinen, who's the other one? Torrey Krug. I was a big fan when like Krug was there too. Like,
do you remember Krug's hit against St. Louis when he got his bucket ripped off and went 180 feet and dropped the guy?
Yeah,
I don't care what you zebras calling a penalty. It was a great hit.
It was
great hit
flat
then,
out
great
charging.
Hit now. I don't care.
Flat out charging.
Great hit. Hey, great hit. You didn't have a bucket on or anything. Didn't even care to self
charging.
Yeah,
charging.
It was a great hit, wasn't it?
It
was charging. It wasn't a great hit.
It was nice to see. Yes, I will give you that. I will appreciate a good hockey hit, but the other part of me is also going, that's charging by a mile.
Oh, obviously.
Shit, my bad. Sorry, my bad.
Yeah, thanks again.
I was doing so well too.
Yeah, you dropped the S word. You finally put the F word out there.
Yeah. Yeah, but anyways, Krug was another one I liked. I said, like
Tyler Bertuzzi, most recent Bruin, got to pick up the deadline.
Yeah, but like, and that's the thing, right? That's the thing too. Like I said, like I like the Bruins, but I don't like them. I like them when they're not playing against Toronto.
Oh yeah, who doesn't? That's kind of like those players that are like kind of like Tom Wilson. You don't like Tom Wilson unless he's playing for your team, and you love Tom Wilson. Same thing with Brad Marchand. You love Marchand until he's not playing for you, and you don't like him. I think Ryan Reeves is that too.
Montreal, I'll never like. Never.
Well, because who likes Montreal?
That's one thing. Like that's different. Whereas like
who
Boston,
likes those French carpetbaggers?
Like even too like when even when the Leafs weren't making the playoffs, like when it was Montreal and Boston, I was always rooting for Boston.
Oh, who wasn't?
But like I just like shitting on them a little bit just because like it's fun once in a while, but like I honestly have respect for them, like, and I like what they've done.
And what they will continue to do, you got to expect, because again, it's been a thing for since their inception that they're going to be a rough and tumble team. Even if they suck, which they haven't really ever sucked in about 60 years now.
Well,
they've never really been a bottom feeder.
I'll say this: Linus Ullmark is not having a business season next year.
No, but it's okay. Jeremy Swayman will have a business season, so it's all going to work out.
No.
Al, it's all going to work out.
No.
But
I think
end off the show, Al, before we continue to bicker about hockey, when we should have even got onto the hockey topic other than Babcock. The NBA has changed the penalties to the load management rules, or to be exact, the player participation policy. Cage and I spoke about it last week on Polar Opposites. Al, you put it in the lineup, so we'll talk about it here. I'll let you give out your thoughts. So the teams will now be docked $100,000 for the first break, $250,000 for the second break of the rule, and $1 million for a third and any other violation after that. The rule states that a player, or let me quickly find it again. The exact is the guidelines would apply for nationally televised games and clubs that sit multiple stars in the same contest. A star is defined as a player that has made an all-star game or an all-NBA team within the last 3 years.
Yeah. I don't have many thoughts on it. It's just like it's about time. Because and also really you got to blame the Toronto Raptors for this rule, to be honest, because the whole load management thing is all because of Kawhi Leonard, right? When it worked out, and then that's the thing. So for me, I'm a fan of the rule. Honestly, I don't even want to spend that much time on it. I just want to say, like, yeah, I'm a fan of the rule. I think it's a good thing because I do think that, like, last year there were a lot of key players. There was a lot of things on social media where it was like, oh, like, I came here from all the way here and, like, to see this player play, but they're sitting, and it's like, well, why are they sitting? And then there was no reason, right? And it's like, I'm sorry, but, like, it's also basketball, one of the least physically demanding sports on the planet.
Now, if you ask them.
Yeah, I don't care. sorry, I don't give a shit. Yeah, you can look at Steph Curry. He could shoot a ball from half court, and it will go in and count as a 3-pointer. Not a lot of effort goes into throwing a ball.
Okay, they're MLB pitcher.
A basketball.
There you go. Probably a good qualifier.
Yeah, baseball is different. That's different. But you can stand from almost anywhere on the court, and there's a better chance that you make the shot compared to, I don't know, going up to, like, the mound on a baseball field and throwing. Doesn't matter how hard you throw, but, like, throwing 3 consecutive strikes, unless you're a big league pitcher.
I guess don't talk about your problems on the mound, Al. We shouldn't project on this show. But I will just restate what Cajun and I spoke about last week. We hope it makes a change, but we don't expect it to make much of a change.
Okay, here's my question. I want to make this interesting. Who do you think's going to be the first team to break that rule? First team to get fined?
The first team to get 100,000 K? You get 100K?
Yeah.
Honestly, probably Philly.
I was going to say New Orleans.
Well, I don't know, because Zion keeps getting hurt, like actually hurt. So I don't know if they'll actually get hit with it, because it only affects 50 players and 25 teams.
Oh, plus also, I guess Zion didn't make an all-star team either, so, like, never mind.
Well, no, but he's made one I believe in the previous, so it's last 3 years out. Last 3 years.
I know, but I think he's cleared from it
my
now.
phone. So I'll quickly say I think it'll be Philly, because I don't know if James Harden will still be on the roster, but if he is, I think there'll be a game where Harden doesn't show up and Embiid sits, and I think they'll get docked 100K, is my thought. Because, again, they have Nick Nurse, who, as you mentioned, with the Raptors getting all this fault on this show, Nick Nurse was the coach when they did all that, when they were doing all the low management with Kawhi Leonard and, sitting him when he needed to be sat to, catch a breather. But that would be my thought. Any other teams that I genuinely think could? Maybe Dallas. I don't think Luka takes a lot of days off, but say he takes a day off when Kyrie goes MIA. Maybe that could happen.
I, for some reason, had the Hornets, Charlotte.
The Lakers could be. I don't think they have 2 All-Stars to get.
Well, they got LaMelo,
who's always hurt too, but I don't think you have a second star, because, again, the star thing is you're not allowed to sit them for nationally televised games or home games. They're not really.
What
supposed
about
to
Portland?
Home games. You're always supposed to sit them on away games. Well, right now Lillard's probably gonna be dealt. And if Lillard's dealt, I don't think they have another All-Star on that team. I don't think they have another All-NBA player on that team. That's not Portland. That's Houston.
Why did I think he went to Portland? Oh, because
they wear red?
The color scheme's a little close. Yeah,
that's what I was thinking. You were
the color scheme's a little close. Yeah, sorry. Basketball's not something I pay attention to.
I was thinking the Lakers also, because of LeBron and AD. Maybe they get caught doing something, even though AD, again, it's a Band-Aid. Data Davis's Cajun theory, Danny Castle would say.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting, because I don't know how many teams are actually going to finagle it. Because, again, teams are going to find loopholes. You make a new rule, they'll make new loopholes, right? So we'll see how teams get around it. But it will be interesting to see, Al, who gets the first violation. I'm going to have to ask Cajun that on our episode of Polar Opposites, either today or tomorrow or Thursday.
You didn't ask him yet?
I didn't think of the question.
Come on.
I didn't think of who was going to violate it first.
That's the fun part. That's the first thing.
Al.
It's going to be such a meme.
No one breaks it. I was hoping everyone plays a full 82, and we sing Kumbaya. That's my hope. I wasn't hoping anyone breaks the rule, Al.
I mean, come on.
I'm not that pessimistic. I'm not that nihilistic. I hope the teams don't break the rule. I don't want teams getting fined 100K for,
you know what? I don't like politics or, like, stupid stuff in sports, but let me tell you, if there's one thing I like a lot lately is chaos.
Well, who doesn't like chaos once in a while?
But like,
You know?
not like Leafs chaos. Like that's not even chaotic.
Well, yeah.
That's just
That's no longer chaos. That is
that's
just
just
in line.
trauma.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
trauma. Like, you know, like never mind. Oh, okay, I got a story I gotta say this. I
Uh-oh.
think I'm allowed to say this. I don't think this would be like a non-disclosure thing or whatever. So we were doing so when I tried out for the Leaf skate team, we had this like rock paper scissors contest, and I ended up winning it. We had like another thing like that when we went to the orientation thing last week or whenever it was. And this guy beat me in rock paper scissors. I was doing well. I was kicking ass, and then I eventually lost, which was crazy because like the way I lost, I just knew I was gonna lose. But like, anyways, it's not the point. So the guy that beat me ended up going to the championship round, and they said it was 2 out of 3 for round robin and semis and whatever, and then once you got to the final round, it was a best of 7. And ironically enough, he had a 3-1 lead and he blew it.
Oh, so you really did pull a Leaf.
And it was funny because the first thing I thought of, nobody, like I was ahead of the game. I already knew. And I was like, it was 3-1. Anyways, it was
You
so
can really tell it
freaking.
was a Leafs oriented
Oh yeah,
event, eh,
and
Al?
that's the funniest thing too. We were right inside like MLSE headquarters, and
It was
like
meant to be, Al. It was meant to be.
it was just so funny. I'm like, wow, this is like such a wow. Yeah, it really does translate off the ice. But anyways, I don't know why I felt the need to bring that up. I think it was because of the fine and like, you know, who goes first, that kind of thing. That triggered that thought for some reason.
Well,
But
I'm
anyways,
gonna
oh
make
dude,
sure I'm
so
gonna put
funny.
this quickly in the polar opposites doc, so our Cage and I can talk about it. And then we'll see who goes first. I'll say Philly. Who do you say, Al? Who will get the
I
fine
gotta
first?
lock one in now.
Well, you gotta put one in, okay? You can't ask the question and then not give an answer, okay?
Yeah, okay. Who? Ooh, this would be interesting. Phoenix.
That's a good one. There you go. That's a good one. There you go. They got three. They got 3 guys: Beal, Durant, and obviously Devin
Booker.
Booker. And I
Yeah.
think DeAndre Ayton fits there too.
Yeah.
So
But anyways, I'd say Phoenix just because Kevin Durant's also slowed down a bit. So
yeah, he's old, isn't he?
yeah, he's getting up
But
there.
there you go. So Phoenix from Alain Cavion, Philadelphia from myself, Spencer Byers. We'll see what Cajun Theory with Andy Castle says in our next episode of Polar Opposites. But for that, Al, for our prediction of who will break the new fine policy first for the player participation, I think that'll do it for us, wouldn't it? I think we ran out of topics. I know we've gone a while.
That would do it. And if that does do
Any
it,
other
I mean,
stories?
not really. I mean, hold on. Actually, can I check my Twitter feed? Maybe something happened.
Of course you can. Al. We've already got an hour and a half. Might as well go a little longer.
Usually I scroll X or Twitter or whatever. And by the way, I also want to point out that my Twitter feed is starting to fill up with hockey content again, which means life is good. All is well. Let's see. Oh, we got a Sid Sixaro tweet saying, "Am I a jerk?" And then there's a video followed up by that. That can't
Probably yes. It is. It is Sid. So I'm gonna just go with yes. That I've been watching.
Oh, so okay. Breaking news. Sternberg has announced an agreement for the new stadium in downtown St. Petersburg. They made the official announcement from Tropicana Field an hour ago. Tanner Pearson has been activated off the LTIR for the Vancouver Canucks.
Well, that should be a plus to a bad hockey team.
The Tampa Bay Lightning feel the need to point out that they are Braden Point days away from the start of the hockey season. No, that's whatever. There's Nick Chubb, who looks like he busted his knee after that hit last night, but I mean, I don't really have much to.
An alleged ligament tear in his knee. They haven't stated which one yet. They've obviously got to go for the MRI. So we'll see if if it's an ACL and or just an ACL or what exactly that is. Another one is Saquon Barkley out for the next 3 weeks with a sprained ankle. Not sure exactly which one, but one of the two. Strained ankle ligament or a sprained ankle. But regardless, and I also want to mention here quick as you continue to read out there on the X, formerly
Yeah,
Twitter.
there's one more thing. Cap Friendly announcing that they're introducing this thing called Salary Wish, which is an NBA equivalent to NHL
There you
Cap
go.
Friendly.
That sounds fantastic. There you go. Cap Friendly, good website. They're adding to their portfolio, kind of like
Which is kind of weird though,
Skins, Football
because
Reference, Baseball Reference, etc.
oh, okay, so we don't know what happened. Okay, but we know that Nick Chubb is done for the season though.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just saw this now. So out for the season with a knee injury.
It's not deciding on what it is.
We don't know what it is. I'm gonna say MCL.
Well, if it's season, it's ACL and it's just what the
Yeah,
and is.
true. Yeah.
But anything else before I finish?
I'm quickly scrolling and there's Selena Gomez. Hello.
Girlfriend, Al. Girlfriend.
So the deal, Rays confident of closing deal, 1.3 billion downtown St. Petersburg Stadium. The pictures look pretty immaculate. Looks cool. Yeah, no, every NHL team is basically tweeting out how many days there's left until the hockey season, which has me pretty excited. The Blue Jays are back in action today, I believe. Yes, they were playing the Yankees, 7:05.
Yep.
Anything else that scoreboard watching?
Well, and I'll quickly say
there's teams that clinched.
Who clinched the MLB?
Let's see, Baltimore, Tampa, the Atlanta Braves, who've won the division for a 6th straight year, and the Dodgers.
So all teams
also
that
clinched.
Kind of
the Dodgers clinched the division. So did the Braves, and Baltimore has clinched a spot, and so has Tampa Bay.
Well, Al, I think we're about to end on this, so I'll say the NFL also is filing grievances against the union, against the NFLPA, because they advised the running backs. Obviously, I think we talked about it on this show that the running backs have been horribly underpaid in the NFL and tried to fix their market last summer. Didn't really work out for a lot of the top running backs.
How did we miss this?
How did we miss this?
Patrick Mahomes reworked his contract. What the actual hell?
What do you like the 210 million of the next over the next 4 years?
It's just stupid. It's like Joe Burrow is the highest NFL player in history now with his new deal. And then Kansas City basically just went, you know what, screw that. He doesn't deserve to have that title. It should be Patrick Mahomes. So they're like, here's more money. I think that's what happened there.
Of course.
That was my first thought. I was like, are you kidding me right now? That actually had me so heated last night. I was like, what a freaking joke.
Well, of course. But as I was saying, Al.
Yeah, that's it. Anyways, that's my small little rant.
The NFL is filing grievances against the NFLPA, the players union, because of them apparently advising running backs to fake injuries because of their position being very obsolete this year but in the past 5 to 10 years in the NFL, and being so readily disposable, at least from a GM's perspective. And I do want to find and with this, I think it's a good thing to end on. The PWHL, the new Professional Women's Hockey League,
yes,
had their draft yesterday. I'll be completely honest, Al. I'll plead ignorance. I don't really know any of the players. I know a couple of the Canadians who are famous.
I know the Olympians.
Yeah. But I don't really know anybody else. But their rosters are now filled out. Every team's got 18 players. Well, 18 I'll say players, but including 2 goalies. So 16 players and 2 goalies, I believe.
I'm excited.
Each team. But this league should last. The organizations are Toronto, Minnesota, Boston, New York, Ottawa, and Montreal. So 3 Canadian, 3 American teams, basically in all of the original 6 locations. Well, I guess 3 of the 6, right? Toronto, Boston, or 4. Toronto, Boston, New York, and Montreal. Ottawa and Minnesota take over for New York, or for Detroit and Chicago.
Yeah, I was gonna
Which
jump in and
Minnesota's the hockey state, right? So
I was about to jump in and try to help you out, but you worked your way into it, so I was like, it's good. I was like, I was like, Chicago and Detroit are the other two original six, but yeah, I mean, real quick, like my thoughts on it, I'm happy for them, and I feel this feels different. I know we talked about it before we started recording, but it feels like this is finally gonna stick, I guess, and I think they'll finally be able to start focusing on growing the game, barring anything goes wrong in terms of like financials and whatnot. But I do have a good feeling about the league and where they're at right now, and it felt like yesterday was finally that good first step in the right direction in terms of growing the women's game, which I think it sucks that it still has to grow because I feel like it should already be to the point where like not where it's like equal in terms of like the NHL level. Like that'll take a while before you reach like that kind of fan base and those like big stadiums and everything like that. But in terms of them finally not having to maybe work a second job and can actually just be called full-time professional hockey players. So it feels really good in terms of where that league's going, and I hope it does well because like it's 2023, man. Like, come on, get your shit together, people. Like, get going. And I think the draft and all of the ceremonies and everything that took place yesterday was a good first step. And by yesterday, I mean September 18th. Just to date it, because I realized that as we were talking today, we're using a lot of time-sensitive words. We just never really pointed out what day this is. We're recording this on September 19th. Well, I can't believe my brain shut down there for
there you
a
go.
second.
Yeah. There you go. You finally
We got
figured it
there.
out. There you go.
We got there. Yeah, September 19th. So, anyways, I'm really happy for him.
Definitely is a good first step in hopefully creating a sustainable women's hockey league, which never really has existed before. And as you mentioned, hopefully is the first building blocks to not only full-time professional hockey players for women, but also growing the women's game, which it would be nice to see to continue to grow hockey. If it's men's or women's, who really cares? Just growing hockey around the world.
Yeah, the game's got a lot of growing to do on both sides. But that's a topic we can dive into when the NHL does something dumb again, because we all know it's gonna happen.
Mm-hmm.
But is this my turn now?
I think I was gonna prompt you again. I was gonna say, do you remember your job, Al?
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah,
I remember the job. I just had to ask if like that was it, because like
yes.
we actually like added like an extra 10 minutes, which I think was a good conversation. But like anyways, all right, this was episode number 19 of the Outrage. Next time we do this, it'll be episode number 20. Big milestone there for the Outrage, as we've been running for over a calendar year now. Also, some production notes. I'm going to cook up some nice little soundtracks for this to amp this thing up. We had one for this original podcast, but I had to give my work laptop back, so I lost everything, and my dumb ass didn't save it. But this was episode 19 of The Outrage from myself, Alain and Spencer Byers. We'll talk to you soon.